This is the Heart of LAFC podcast, episode 3.
Coming to you directly from sunny Southern California, you are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, here is your host, Jerry Jimenez.
What is up? Welcome to the Heart of LAFC podcast. My name is Jerry Jimenez, your host, your friend, your insider into the Los Angeles Football Club. Thank you for joining me for our third episode of the Heart of LAFC. This is your show. What that means is that you have the power to control what we talk about. Please follow our social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also feel free to drop us a line over at www.heartoflafc.com. Let us know what you want to hear. Who do you want to hear from? What should we talk about? We want to make sure you are getting everything you want out of this show and more. Today we have Mr. Fernando Varela from Expo Originals, one of the supporter groups for LAFC. We talk about the origin of the group itself, the name Expo Originals, and much, much more. Here is our interview with Expo Originals' very own Mr. Fernando Varela. All right, Mr. Fernando Varela, how are you, sir?
I'm great, Jerry. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on. I know we've been working for a while now trying to set this up.
Yeah, about a week and a half now, along with some technical difficulties.
Which I think hopefully we have figured out at this point. But thank you so much. Yeah, fingers crossed, man. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're very excited to have you. We're going to talk about Expo Originals and how that got to be. Maybe get a little bit of a history lesson from you. But before we start on that, I want to touch a little bit on something which is pretty cool, and that is that you got to be a part of the filming and part of the video that is shown for the LAFC crest reveal. I want to talk a little bit about that, man. How was that?
That was awesome. Yeah, Pat and some of the LAFC crew invited some Expo Originals to do some filming for the Crest and Colors reveal video. This was actually before we were even known as the Expo Originals, so I'm sure we're going to go into that a little bit in the history lesson later in the podcast. But yeah, there was a handful of us that got to go down to a park near downtown LA with an overpass over, I believe it's the 110, and we got to do some shoots, put up some like a banner style thing over the highway, and we put a message across the overpass to all the oncoming traffic, and that got filmed, and along with some individual candid shots that were put into the video as well, which are a little awkward when you're at an event or something and the video is being played in the background and all of a sudden your face pops up. But it's a cool experience. It's something that I'm definitely going to show my kids in the future when I have a son or daughter. I get to brag to them and show them what a cool person I am, being in these original videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, totally, man. And that's something that I think about too, the fact that we get to be a part of it from the beginning, and you have it on video. You get to show, we were part of this club, part of that video to show what our crest, what our colors were. And that's not something just anybody's going to get to say. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Totally bragging rights for when your kids around. That is so cool. But also, I did have a question, and I just realized this. It just jumped into my head. You guys are chanting in the video, right? And I believe the words are "We are LA," which you put up on tape on that overpass. Yeah. Were you guys actually screaming, or was that like?
Oh, we were screaming like you're screaming. Yeah. There was 5 of us on this overpass. I think it was 5 of us, and nobody else, and we were just screaming at the top of our lungs at the oncoming traffic. Yeah, I think the chant was LAFC. Pretty simple, but yeah, it was a fun experience. All of us just going out there having a blast, getting to shoot for this video.
Anybody honk at you guys while you guys were out there?
No, I don't think anybody honked at us. Definitely nobody honked at us. Yeah, thank God.
So awesome.
We didn't want any attention.
Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, man. So let's move on. Let's talk about Expo Originals. That's why we're here. So the origin of the Expo Originals, I think it's a very cool one, and a very cool story. How did that come to be, man? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so not too long after the club was announced as an official MLS expansion team, the club released the first images of the stadium that was going to happen at Expo Park. And the LA soccer community kind of started realizing, like, hey, this is a real deal. The ownership is not messing around. We've got an ambitious ownership building a beautiful stadium right in the heart of LA. This club seems to, everything they're doing, their whole identity seems to be all about LA. Let's see, what's going on here. People started investigating the club, and there was some interest to start a supporters group for LAFC. And at the time, there were two supporter groups in existence, which were Black Army 1850, and at the time they were called the Union Ultras. Now they're the District 9 Ultras. And, obviously we have an amazing relationship with those guys. There's a council. We talk to them a lot. But there was kind of a demand for like this original grassroots upstart specifically for LAFC that started, that was founded alongside the club. So, we saw that, people were clamoring for this, and we decided to just start, a supporters group, see how it went. There was a lot of interest, and ever since then, over the past almost 2 years now, we've grown a lot, and we've gotten to do a lot of really cool things.
Awesome. Yeah. And so you mentioned the other two groups, excuse me, which are Black Army 1850 and now District 9 Ultras.
Mm-hmm.
And they had supported the previous, Chivas USA, now defunct Chivas USA. And so
Right.
they had already a history. And so you guys were the first really bigger group that came out and actually started right away with no kind of, I guess,
Previous history,
not
yeah.
history, previous history, but you started building it from scratch with LAFC. So
Yeah.
that's very, very cool. And so I think, being a part of Black Army myself, I really enjoyed watching you guys kind of go through the process of, you guys were at one point, I believe when you started, you were just LAFC supporters group, correct?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So from the very beginning, we've kind of been dedicated to these ideas of being, very democratic. The membership has the power. There's really no president or main guy that makes all the decisions. No decisions are made without membership approval and without membership discussion. So we took that to heart, and we even decided to carry those ideas onto our name. So we started off with a very basic name, LAFC Supporters Group, a very basic logo. I think we were just, the MLS logo with LAFC over the top or something like that. And we started talking to our members and to the LAFC community to see, what ideas they had, what suggestions they had. And over a 9-month process, we must have heard hundreds, I mean, honestly, hundreds of different name ideas. And at the end, we had a vote between 4 finalists, and the Expo Originals won.
That is awesome. So I do have, I believe, a list of some of the names, but we won't go over them because you were right. If you go back, you can find these. There were some really, really good names. I mean,
they're all on our, I think, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can probably go back and find some of the original discussions. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and so I think just to kind of go over I think the last 4, it was all completely like it went down. You went through a bunch of different names at one point, and then started narrowing it down little by little. Knocking off some names, and making some combinations of names also, right?
Right.
Like
yeah. We listened to every idea.
So I think Originals was like one name on its own, or Expos was another different thing, Expo Park, and they ended up being 4. And I think after those 4 is when off of there you decided on Expo Original. So it was North End Guardians, which I still really, really like, to be honest with you. Sunset Society, 110 Republic, and then the winner, which is Expo Originals. And to be honest with you, you guys definitely have the cooler of those 4.
I actually really dig
the right choice.
I was actually looking back at the 4 finalists, and I kind of dig Sunset Society, like the whole vibe that name came along with, and the whole like imagery that would have come alongside with that name. It's kind of unique. It's like, the Sunset Society. I mean, I know it sounds kind of lame when you first hear it, but just like our current logo is it's a sunset, a golden Art Deco sunset, and I was actually looking back and I was like, oh, that might have been pretty cool. But at the end of the day, I think you're right. We definitely selected the right name, and there was a public vote for members, public for members of the at that time LAFC supporters group, and Expo Originals was the clear winner. So I do think we made the right choice. But there were definitely some interesting ideas in there.
So let's go through the name Expo Originals. It's two different words. Expo. Where does that come from?
So Expo, right off the bat, is the home of our future stadium, Expo Park. The Bank of California Stadium will be at Expo Park. So that's where Expo comes from.
And then Originals.
Yeah, Originals is kind of a double meaning to it. Actually, Expo has its own meaning, Original has its own meaning, and Expo Originals together has its own meaning. So like I said, Expo is because of Expo Park. Originals is because of how kind of old of a group we are. We're relatively young now, but we were the first, as you mentioned, the first LAFC original group that was founded after LAFC was founded. And so we're like the LAFC originals, but we're the Expo originals together. Kind of says, hey, we're the LAFC originals that have been here to support LAFC and will always be here supporting LAFC.
Awesome. And I am a big fan of graphic design, of good looking logos. Your logo is awesome. Who did that for you guys?
Yeah, so the main guy that did about 99% of the work on the logo is a guy called Anton Skell. He's a member of the Expo Originals, who we got so lucky that he ended up finding us and decided to help us on the logo, because it's really beautiful. It's a combination of Art Deco classic LA style with like a new sharp design, and the sunset, which is very LA, with graphic design that's very eye catching, and it all meshes together very well, I think, and I think it came out awesome.
No, I totally agree. And shout out for him. I just wanted to bring that up because I am a big fan of just the look and feel of things, and just of multiple different brands. But you guys have this very clean look, very clean, slick feel to not just your logo, your name, but your website, which I was going through. Your website is awesome, and that is expooriginals.com. Is that right? Awesome.
Yes,
so
correct.
if people want to check that out, also we'll have a link on the show notes so you guys can check that out and see what I mean. It's super clean. So shout out to him and his work that he did on the logo. And is that something also that you guys kind of just went back and forth? There was different like iterations of the logo itself?
Yeah, I actually had an idea not too long ago on one of our anniversaries when we released our name and logo, which we did together. One day we're going to put together a video showing all the iterations of the original Expo Originals logos, because there's actually some really interesting and really fascinating stuff. We went through dozens of different iterations, dozens of different ideas, and Anton, he deserves a lot of credit. He is the one who came through with the sunset idea, the sunset design, and he really perfected it.
Awesome. And so let's talk about what you guys have been up to. Because, I mean, obviously, right now, we don't have a team to field yet, but that does not matter. The supporters have definitely stepped up and just completely created the feel for LAFC already as a family, and it's growing and growing and growing. The rallies, all the events. What has Expo Originals as a group been up to lately?
Yeah, so we've definitely been at all the events. If you're an LAFC fan that has been attending some of the rallies or the watch parties or anything like that, you've definitely seen us. So we've definitely been at all the events. We've been at all the supporter group events. Upcoming District 9 Ultras is doing a FIFA 17 tournament. We're going to be at that. There's events all the time that the supporters do. The LA Supporters Cup, the futsal tournament, we were there. So we're at every event that we're invited to, basically. On top of that, we do our own group stuff. So upcoming, we have a pickup game, a soccer match planned. We're actually finding the field that we're going to use now, and hopefully we'll have an announcement soon. We're going to make it a public match so that anyone that wants to come and play pickup soccer can come and just meet us and play some footy with us and introduce themselves or just hang out and have a good time. So yeah, we're doing a little bit of everything right now.
Awesome. Yeah. And it sounds to me like that would be a perfect opportunity for anybody out there listening that is, interested in Expo Originals and joining to go and meet the guys that are already a part of it, that are already building, the group and, get to know them and maybe, introduce yourself and meet Fernando and the rest of the guys. They are a very, very friendly group of guys. They're super
Absolutely.
approachable. I think we all are. And I think that's something that's beautiful about, what we are building all together, man. And it's super, super cool to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that about the LAFC supporters and the Expo Originals, but the LAFC supporters in general is we're all a very welcoming, open group of people. You know, I know the Black Army are definitely District 9 Ultras are. You can really just walk up to any of us and introduce yourself, and we'll introduce you to everyone, and you'll become a part of us just like that if you really wanted to. We have people that walk up to us all the time and just want to get to know us and hang out with us, and just like that, everyone's talking to them. We're all in a circle. We're all laughing about stuff. So I'm really proud of the kind of welcoming culture that the LAFC supporters have created.
Yeah, no, definitely. I totally agree. And with that also, I mean, just building together and something that LAFC has truly shown that they really mean building together, and they're including all the groups in. Something that you guys were actually quite a few of your members were a part of recently was the supporter section design, which we won't talk too much about because I haven't gotten the okay. I don't want to get anybody mad at me.
I can tell you some stuff.
Let's talk about
Rich is gonna get mad at me, but I'll tell you stuff. There's gonna be a chocolate fountain that goes down all the way from the very top to the very bottom toward the pitch. There's gonna be a chocolate moat between some stadiums in like South America. The fans get rowdy, so they put a moat between the section and the field. We're gonna have a moat, but it's gonna be completely chocolate. It's gonna be awesome.
What this sounds like you're describing like Willy Wonka factory soccer field type thing going on.
I think you just came up with the name for the supporter section too. The chocolate factory,
the chocolate
or Willy
factory.
Wonka's factory, something. I don't know. We can think of some stuff.
Oh man, Rich, don't be mad at him. This is exclusive, guys. Exclusive content that we're getting here at Heart of LAFC. Thanks for that, man. But yeah, so. I know there's a lot of stuff that you guys discussed that we will eventually talk about. I promise everybody who's listening, I am working on this very, very hard right now to get one of the guys from Gensler to actually speak to you guys for himself and give us a little bit more insight of what went on and what is still going on, because actually they are still including not just the supporters. This was a supporters section specifically for the North End and the design of the North End, because believe it or not, we actually get some pretty cool stuff on our end that it's going to be exclusive to that area, and
yeah, it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be awesome. So, if you want to be a part of that, you need to jump in now and start involving yourself, because this is stuff. They're serious. They really are including us in all that.
There are a lot of people who are waiting until LAFC signs a big player, or until closer to 2018 before they jump in and decide to call themselves a real LAFC supporter. But you're missing a whole bunch of amazing things that you get to participate in that, is a once in a lifetime opportunity by standing aside. I'd recommend to everyone to, dive in, just join a group, or not even, you don't even have to join a supporters group, get involved with the community, see what's going on. And a lot of amazing stuff is going on before the team even starts play in 2018.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the cool things too is, don't feel like you have to join any group. At the end of the day, on match day, we're all going to be one whole section all together. All of the groups are going to be one. And so, you don't feel like you're forced to pick a group or anything like that. Like I said earlier, we're welcoming, and you get to hear it straight from Fernando and Expo Originals. These guys are all super cool. And, let's talk a little bit
guys
now
and gals.
About guys and gals. That's correct. Sorry about that. Sorry,
no
ladies.
Yeah, we have a few female members. They'll get mad at me if I don't say anything.
No, and you know what? I do not want to upset them. I do not. So let's talk a little bit, because obviously we have a lot of work to do, and a large part of that, now that our cathedral, our stadium is being built, our new home is being built. we need to start looking towards possibly getting some players, some coach maybe. What do you think is next? What do you?
Well, I was really in on having Bob Bradley be our first coach, but now that isn't an option. Depends how well he does at Swansea. I mean, he's 1 point in 3 games. Maybe he won't be there for all that long, to be honest. But no, I'm hoping that he does really well at Swansea. I really want to see the U.S. Grow around the world and show people that the U.S. knows soccer. So I'm rooting for Bob Bradley. But now that he isn't an option, I've kind of got to thinking, and I think it's time to stray away from the MLS coach. I wouldn't be bothered by Siggy Schmidt or something like that. But Patrick Vieira has come in. He's done an amazing job at NYCFC. Tata Martino just got hired by Atlanta. I'm sure he's going to do well at Atlanta. I think we can attract a really great manager, a global manager that can help us build our foundation, from the ground up, from our first player, and will turn us into a great club from the very beginning. And LA is a city that could attract one of those type of managers. So I wouldn't be mad with a Siggy Schmidt or MLS style coach, but if it was my option, if it was my choice, I'd look for a big time international manager.
Yeah, and Fernando, I think one of the things that a lot of people are kind of keeping from the past is that international coaches have not done very well transitioning into MLS, but times have changed. And like you said, Vieira, and we'll see how Tata does, but I just don't see him messing anything up. I see him actually doing really, really well.
Yeah,
and
I think
it sounds
he will
to
do
me
really
like
well.
they're preparing, right? They're preparing more as they come to MLS because they know that there's that stigma that international coaches don't do well.
Yeah, Atlanta United are doing things well right now. And we've never, as far as I can remember, there's never been an international coach the caliber of Tata Martino that's built a club from the ground up, an expansion team. So we don't really have all that much to go off of as LAFC. If John Thornton does decide to, go after one of these big time managers, he won't really be able to wait a year and study how Atlanta are doing. So I know it is kind of risky, but I just don't see that doing poorly. Maybe they might struggle their first few games. Expansion teams tend to struggle. LAFC will more than likely struggle. But I just think in the long run, he's going to be a great manager for MLS.
I agree. And so what are you thinking for designated players?
This is a tough one because I feel like every few months, there's so many, and every few months there's like a rumor of a big name coming, and then he says on like a British podcast show or a British TV show that he would never come to MLS, Cristiano Ronaldo. But I'm not sure. I mean, I'd love for Cristiano to come over, but it's like he said on a British TV show that he doesn't want to come to MLS, so I'm gonna take his word for it. And I think we're going to have to start looking for other people. I'd love for, there's a lot of really great Mexican players that are more open to coming to MLS because of how close it is to Mexico. And I think people are starting to see the MLS is growing and are giving MLS more of a chance. So I'd love to see, maybe Guardado or Carlos Vela come over. I'd love for like Tecatito Corona, but I doubt it. He's young. He's making his way in Europe right now. So, but yeah, I think Guardado or Carlos Vela would be 2 options I would look at. Other than that, people have been saying Zlatan. I'm not so sure about Zlatan. He's going to be, I think, 38 in 2018. He's not doing that well for Manchester United right now. I'm sure he would kill it in MLS right now, but I think he's coming down from his peak from the summit, and I think he would be a little too old for LAFC.
I think I'll agree. Also, though, as a Manchester United fan myself, it's a little hard not to want a Man U player to come to your team in the United States. You know what I mean?
That.
So the only thing is, it's like I'd rather they come here with our team, with LAFC, than with the other Carson team.
Yeah.
Rooney being one. That's a rumor out there.
He can go to
And
Carson. I don't think he would do that well, to
I
be
feel
honest.
really. I don't know if I agree with you on that one, but I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens, and then maybe we'll have this discussion all over and be like, "See, I was right," or you know, see
I'm
what.
not taking any bets.
No, I don't bet. I never do. No bets.
Yeah.
But man, so it's been awesome having you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm so glad this finally happened. I will not take any more of your time, but let's talk really quick. Those of the people that are listening are interested in getting a little bit more information about Expo Originals. How can they do that?
You can hit us up on any social media accounts. Our Instagram is at LAFC Expo Originals. Our Twitter is at Expo Originals, and you can find us on Facebook at Expo Originals. You can hit us up message us, look through, the different discussions that are going on our social media pages and see what's going on. I would also recommend going to expooriginals.com, definitely expooriginals.com. We have a lot about our history, what our name, going into detail about our name. What we've been doing recently at events. We have a lot of photos, and it's a slick website. You can, you've said it earlier in the show, it's a slick website. It's easy to go through. So yeah, you can also sign up there at expooriginals.com. You'll get you'll be put on our mailing list, so you'll know all the upcoming events and everything that's going on. And I would just say, if you're a little timid or you're not sure, you're not that great at meeting new people, look, we're very welcoming. We're very warm people. If you just showed up at an event and saw someone with an Expo Original scarf, you could literally just walk up to us, say hi, say you're interested, or you just want to know more about us, and we'll talk to you. We'll introduce you to everybody. So you don't need to worry about anything.
Awesome. And with that, I do have to plug real quick the Expo Original scarf. Beautiful. Make sure that you make your way over to expooriginals.com. There is a link there where you can purchase that. And, show up to an event wearing one of those and just be like, hey, guys.
Scarf is only the beginning.
There you go. And so thank you again, you guys, expooriginals.com, Expo Originals on all social media. Fernando Varela, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
So I wanted to give a quick shout out to everybody that came out for the Black and Gold Rally. We just got back last night. It happened. And by the time this is airing, we will have already been relaxed and all renewed from that night. It was amazing. Thank you to all the people who said hi to me, everybody that walked up. I got to speak on the mic a little bit. And thank you for you guys, kind of following along for that Kick TV. We did a quick Kick TV Snapchat takeover. Shout out to Kick TV. Thank you guys for trusting me with that. That was awesome. And it's not every day you get to say that the co-managing owner of your club served you a beer. Mr. Larry Berg was there. He was the surprise guest. And by this time now, everybody knows the man was serving beer. And I was one of the recipients of said beer. I actually had a Limelight IPA from Boomtown Brewery. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. John Rankin, one of the owners there at Boomtown. They took very good care of us, and everybody there was just amazing. Again, thank you, Kick TV. Thank you, John, over at Boomtown. Thank you, everybody at Boomtown. Thank you, LAFC, for the awesome event that you guys put on. Make sure you check out the website, www.heartoflafc.com. We will have a blog update, kind of a blog review of the Black and Gold Rally that happened recently, and hopefully we get to see you at the next one. I mean, it was a great event. And you guys missed out if you weren't there. So, with that being said, please make sure that you guys sign up, subscribe for our podcast, become a VIP. We're actually nearing triple digits, guys. Thank you so much to all of you that are already subscribed over at iTunes. It definitely helps out. And hey, you get the newest episodes right as they come out directly to you. So, do it now, subscribe. And also, I did want to throw this out there before I forget. I've been getting a lot of you tell me that you really enjoy the music that you hear right at the beginning, our little intro music. And that was done by my brother, actually, Andy Jimenez. He goes by the name of Nez, and you can find him on SoundCloud. I will make sure to put a link to his music. You can check that out. He does some production. It's really good stuff, not just because he's my brother, but thank you and shout out to him. I hadn't done that, and a lot of you guys have actually said they really enjoy it. So there you go. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much. Another one in the books. I am Jerry Jimenez signing off. Stay golden.